Hi there, I'm Saul at Saul's Automotive. Today we're going to talk to you a little bit about some of the vehicles we get to work on. I'm standing in front of a 1986 Rolls Royce. The reason this vehicle came in for service is it's been out on the road for a solid 30 years and it's time to get some basic maintenance, regular performance, and updates up to date on this guy. As far as why we actually need to get the service though, the vehicle runs and drives perfectly fine, had a few small leaks and a few small bumps and clunks, but otherwise was still operating without a hitch. The engineering of this vehicle was designed in a way that it should truly be on the road for upwards of 30 years. In this case, it made it through its first 3 decades of service without any hiccups. No breakdowns, not a one. Today what we're here for is going to be getting the suspension up to date, getting some of the engine and seals back to where they need to be, and getting some of the cooling system addressed. First and foremost, the radiator needed to come out, the fuel injection plenum off the top of the motor needed to come out, and the entire suspension is being removed from underneath. We'll show you a little bit up top of what we're going to be doing, a little bit underneath, and then we'll follow up here in a couple of weeks when we get this guy back together to show you what it all looks like on the other end. To start with, we removed the wheels and tires and scrapped the original set as they were too old to be still in service. We've got 5 brand new white walls sitting for it. We removed the original radiator, which is sitting off to the side right now, in favor of this new lighter weight aluminum replacement. We followed that by pulling apart the fuel injection plenum, which is why we're still floating in a part up here, so that we could service the seals underneath it and get this fuel injection plunger in proper operation to get the fuel system working where it needs to be and keep this guy running. We then had to go over to the brake system and the brake canister in order to reseal the top side of the canister and get good brake pressure throughout the system. We pulled the hood to make a little easier access for this guy, and we'll show you exactly how we install and remove those to make sure we don't damage the paint here in a few. We're going to pick her up real quick and show you what it looks like underneath. Once underneath, we're able to get a good look at the suspension and brake components and see what updating needs to happen. First and foremost, where these arms pivot against the frame, the bushings are rotted out and have a lot of noise to them, so we're going to get those replaced on both the front and back of the arm. Additionally, the struts themselves that hold up the weight of the vehicle were leaking out fluid, as was the steering gear itself, which we see here is physically split across the rack and leaking fluid out visibly. We're going to reseal everything underneath here. We're then going to go to the back of the vehicle where we'll be addressing some of the more suspension concerns. If we look directly under the rear end, we see where the power meets the rear end. There's a tiny little bit of fluid coming from this rear pinion. We'll be dropping this whole rear axle, resealing both sides, and then resealing both struts that hold up this rear axle. Additionally, under the center of the vehicle, where we have this access panel that looks like a no man's land, there's a little bit of fluid coming under the end. In our next video, we're going to pull off this cover and show you what all the hydraulic valves look like inside, how they break down over time, and how we can best repair these to keep these on the road for long-term service. The last thing we'll be doing, we actually can't show you. Deep inside the engine bay, we'll be replacing the brake pressure valves that support the brake system and keep the suspension system aired up even when the vehicle's turned off. So in the event of the engine losing power, you'd still have brake and suspension function no matter what. If you've got a concern about your Rolls, you want to get it up to date, or you're just looking at maybe purchasing one and trying to figure out what common concerns you might have, give us a shout here at Saul's Automotive. We're happy to go through yours front to back, top to bottom, and really get it through and see what needs to be done. If you want to keep it safe, reliable, and on the road for decades to come, you know where to find us. Here in South Denver at 303-919-7769. Thank you.